When I came here, I was fortunate enough to get a job actually through soccer. At that time it was called Canadian Chemical Company. Tried out for their team and I was successful, and I joined the soccer team and got a job there, and I worked there for 40 years, believe it or not. But the reason I stayed here was, one, because of the job, and two, the country, which is beautiful. It was never supposed to happen as far as I was concerned. I joined the CSA. At that time it was a non-amateur director, a professional non-amateur director, and it just moved up the chain as openings became available. But as vice president, I was put in charge of the national team program. It was actually two programs I had, was the national team program, and also got myself involved in trying to form a Canadian Soccer League at that time. So the two things that I figured was my biggest achievements in the Canadian Soccer Association was, one, we did finally get the Canadian Soccer League started, and it ran for 5 years approximately, until we passed it over to the owners of the clubs who ran it from there, and through financial and bad decisions and that, the league folded, and that, but I was gone by that time. But that was one of the highlights, that we did have a successful league for 5 years. And the other highlight was when we, as head of delegation for the Canadian Soccer Association, was when we qualified for the World Cup, the 1986 World Cup in Mexico. And we had France and Hungary and Mexico in our division. And it was quite, the first game was against France. Walking on that field as the head of delegation was one of the most exciting things that could ever happen to you in your soccer career. Being elected into the district association was great, far less becoming the president of the association, and then moving up, the different ones from the districts to the Alberta Soccer Association, from the Alberta Soccer Association to the Canadian Soccer Association, and every time you moved up the rung on the ladder, it was exciting. But the most exciting, obviously, was again, I go back to when we started the professional league, although it was short-lived, standing on the terrace in the World Cup. But also, every time we opened a new facility, or had opening ceremonies for a new grass field or a turf field, I mean, to stand there, and this is where I think I would have to say the facilities is the thing, because you can see it, you can touch it, whereas other things just pass through your lifestyle. I can look around Edmonton, I can go to the four corners of Edmonton, and I can see something that we've achieved. And not me alone, I mean, our board of directors, but you can see it. So this would be the highest. That was the icing on the cake as far as I was concerned. I mean, to achieve something that you never thought was within your reach was just fantastic. In fact, I was numb when I first got notified that I was going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, knowing full well some of the gentlemen that went before me, and ladies that went before me. I couldn't imagine myself being in the same elite people, So it was just a tremendous feeling.